Oh man, this has a bunch of Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever fans worried. It appears Caitlin Clark is dealing with an injury. How serious? I don't know. I'm not here to scare you. I'm not here to lie and make.
There's a very specific kind of fear that hits a franchise when so much depends on one player staying healthy. For the Indiana Fever and their global fan base, that fear came rushing back in a single moment on the court. Over the last 10 days, everything felt like a roller coaster. Caitlin Clark returned after a long, difficult injury layoff, and her first game back against the New York Liberty showed clear rust, an expected adjustment period. But in her next outing against the Dallas Wings, she looked like herself again, dropping an efficient 21 points and regaining confidence with every possession. Then, in the middle of that strong performance, everything shifted. A contested three-point attempt led to an awkward landing after contact from Alana Smith, and Clark went down, immediately grabbing her leg. The energy inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse changed instantly. What had been a moment of excitement turned into complete silence as fans watched their franchise player in visible pain once again. It was a stark reminder of how quickly momentum can turn and how much the team and its future feels tied to her presence on the floor.
WNBA practices do sound like
There. Now, this has people very concerned. This is also what Sophie Cunningham.
Caitlin Clark addressed the media afterward and said she landed hard on her kneecap, but felt fine, making direct eye contact and clearly expressing confidence in her condition. Shortly after, the Indiana Fever removed her from the official injury report within a couple of days, signaling no immediate concern from a medical standpoint. She then returned to the floor against the Nigeria women's national basketball team, playing 12 minutes and 48 seconds, finishing with 12 points on 3 of 4 shooting. Her movement looked normal, her shot was fluid, and there were no visible signs of discomfort or restriction during her time on the court. Still, despite what the eye test and box score suggest, there is ongoing caution among fans. Much of that reaction is shaped by what happened earlier in the year, when injuries and setbacks around Clark created extended uncertainty. As a result, even minor contact or brief scares tend to be interpreted through a more sensitive lens. The real question for the Indiana Fever moving forward isn't just how she looks in isolated moments. It's whether she can consistently withstand the demands of a full, physical 44-game season without setbacks. That concern is less about one play or one game, and more about long-term durability across an entire campaign.
Is wearing as she's recovering from her knee surgery. This is what Aaliyah Boston was also spotted in practice wearing as she's recovering as well. So this has a lot of people concerned like, hey, what's going on with our GOAT? What's going on with our GOAT? I mean, yeah, man.
Let's lay out the situation clearly, because the concern around Caitlin Clark isn't coming out of nowhere. It's built on a sequence of real, documented setbacks over a relatively short stretch of time. The first warning sign came during the 2025 preseason, when she dealt with an unexplained lower body issue that forced the Fever to manage her minutes before the regular season even fully began. It was the kind of early season red flag teams don't ignore, especially with a high-usage guard expected to carry a heavy offensive load. The second moment arrived in June 2025 when she picked up a quadriceps strain in the middle of the regular season grind. That injury didn't just affect her availability. It visibly limited her explosiveness and forced her to miss key games, interrupting her rhythm right as the schedule intensified. Then came the most significant setback on July 15, 2025, a severe groin injury that effectively ended her season. She played only 13 games in total, missing 31 regular season matchups, and spending a major portion of the year in recovery rather than on the court. For a player central to a franchise's identity, that absence was massive. Now fast forward to the 2026 preseason, where another scare emerged against the Dallas Wings. After a contested play involving a dangerous landing situation, Clark went down hard, grabbed her knee, and had to leave the floor visibly uncomfortable. Taken individually, each incident might be explained as part of the physical reality of professional basketball. But viewed together, They form a pattern that naturally raises questions about durability, workload, and long-term management. Even with positive post-game updates and clean injury reports, fans and analysts are reacting to what they've already seen unfold in real time. And that lingering uncertainty is what's driving the conversation.
I don't know, man. I'm nervous, bro. I'm nervous. Look, after last year, I don't know if I can deal with it again. I don't know if I can deal with it again. Jumper wet though. I mean, she looks fine. Maybe it's just I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe they'll say something about it, but this definitely has Indiana Fever fans.
What's missing from a lot of mainstream coverage is that these injuries shouldn't be looked at as four separate, unrelated incidents. The more accurate way to analyze them is to look at the underlying pattern. Most of Caitlin Clark's 2025 issues were soft tissue injuries, things like a groin strain, quadriceps strain, and other lower body flare-ups. These are not contact fractures or freak ligament tears from a single bad landing. They are typically categorized as wear and tear injuries, which occur when the body is repeatedly pushed close to its recovery limit over time. That distinction matters. Soft tissue injuries usually point to cumulative stress, high usage, constant physical engagement, and insufficient recovery between games. In Clark's case, the defensive attention she draws amplifies that load. She's pressured off the ball, bumped on drives, fought through screens, and forced into physical contact possessions after possessions. Over the course of a long season, that kind of nightly pressure can add up on a player's lower body. The league's defensive approach toward her is also part of the conversation. She consistently faces aggressive coverage designed to disrupt rhythm, trails through contact, physical screens, and heavy pressure in transition. Even if each individual play is within the rules or borderline, the total volume of contact changes the physical equation of her workload. The knee incident against Dallas, however, is a different category. Clark described landing directly on her kneecap, which aligns more with an acute impact injury like a bone bruise rather than a recurring soft tissue issue. Her return to the floor shortly after, and her strong movement against Nigeria, suggests there wasn't lingering structural damage from that specific moment. Still, zooming out is where the concern comes from. The issue isn't one play or one diagnosis. It's the accumulation of multiple lower body injuries within a relatively short span. When a player with a heavy offensive burden enters a long, physical season, the risk isn't just new injuries, but the re-aggravation of old ones under constant stress. That's the real question heading into a 44-game grind. Not just whether she's healthy today, but whether her body can consistently handle that level of defensive attention and workload over time without those soft tissue issues resurfacing. Heading into opening night, that uncertainty becomes one of the biggest talking points in the entire league. When a team's success is tied so closely to one player's availability, every possession, every hard fall, and every contact drive carries extra weight. This is Glowstar Vision if you want detailed, no-nonsense coverage that actually breaks down the risks, the matchups, and the real consequences behind what happens on the court. Make sure you subscribe and stay locked in. Now we want to hear from you. Are you concerned about Caitlin Clark's ability to hold up over a full 44-game season under that level of defensive pressure? Or do you believe she's built to withstand it and stay available all year? Drop your analysis in the comments. We read everything and use it to shape future breakdowns. Turn on notifications as opening night is just 6 days away. The season is about to begin, and every game is going to matter.